demo training video. Here we'll be offering the product capabilities, functionalities, advantages of the WebSphere MQ and message broker as well. And we will be discussing the features of each individual product, and we'll be explaining how we are going to provide the training on each product. So let's to begin with the WebSphere MQ. Before we go into that, let me give you a brief introduction of this MQ series in the IBM. So MQ series is an award-winning middleware for the commercial messaging and queuing. What does this messaging and queuing means? So messaging and queuing means programming, communicating by sending each other data in messages rather than calling each other directly is called messaging. Whereas queuing is, to place the messages in a correct order of a storage. So this is what the WebSphere MQ does basically. The product WebSphere MQ enables programs to talk to each other across a network of unlike components like processors, operating systems, subsystems, and communication protocols. This is using a simple and consistent application programming interface. Basically, when you see in this figure, the WebSphere MQ in the middle is communicating with different type of applications around the world, irrespective of its technology, operating system, and the communication protocols, whatever it is. So the basic main advantage of this WebSphere MQ is communication between different applications. As I said, like messaging and queuing. So these are the two concepts which are related, which have played a vital role in creating this MQ product. So this messaging and queuing runs the program independently of each other at a different speeds and times in different locations and without any logical connection between them. So for example, the WebSphere MQ internally has many objects of it. Among those objects, the queue manager is the core object which holds the other objects as well. So for example, queue manager, if you want to define like a queue manager, what does this queue manager is all about? So queue manager is nothing but it holds the objects of the MQ in folder. So the queue manager contains of the queues, process definitions, listeners, channels, etc. And the queues are of different types and the channels are of different types. So we will be going into each particular object in detail in the training classes. So we will be discussing of all these objects and its features, functionalities, and how it is used, how it has been utilized in the MQ series. So basically, when we go into the message broker tool, there are three concepts which we need to be aware of the MQ. So the basic three concepts are distributed queuing, triggering, and clustering. So what is this distribution queuing is all about? So if MQ is placed in the same systems on the same network, so it communicates quite easily. As I said, like it's one of the advantages, like it is communicating irrespective of the different communication protocols and the operating systems. So how you are going to communicate within remote system? Like if we have a queue manager in our local system or MQ in our local system, and if we have the MQ in a remote system, so how these two MQs are going to communicate, how these two applications are going to communicate. So that concept and that functionality is achieved by distributed queuing. So basically, using the distributed concept, we are going to communicate with the remote machines which are in other networks. In fact, MQ has the three key facts which it differentiates from other communication styles. That is, communicating programs can run at different times. And the second one is there are no constraints on application structure. And the third one, programs are insulated from network complexities. So, as I said, we are going to discuss in detail of each particular concept in our training classes. And next comes triggering application. So what does this triggering application or what does this triggering concept mean? Basically, it's as simple as a general term called triggering. So if you tell me triggering means, yeah, we trigger something, right? Here MQ triggers an application. It has an inbuilt facility, inbuilt feature which is capable to trigger particular application on particular system at a particular time. So this functionality can be achieved by WebSphere MQ. And how we are going to do that? Again, as I said, this is an in detail explanation and in detail live scenarios will be provided along with our training. So basically triggering is nothing but it acts as a catalyst to the particular application. If you want to trigger a particular, if you want to run particular application on a particular time, though you don't have a resources available on that particular time, just by setting the triggering application in the WebSphere MQ, that feature can be achieved. So next comes clustering. Yes, clustering is also permits multiple instances of a queue on the different queue managers. That is one of the advantage. But before we go to that, let me tell you what does this clustering concept is all about. Clustering is making two or more queue managers to be shared in a particular group so that different applications can use the same queue managers without any kind of disturbances. So this is what clustering is all about. So if we place for example, if you take it as an A and B as the two queue managers, and if you wanted to place them in the cluster, so these two queue managers can be used for two different applications where we can use all the objects of the A queue managers as well as the B queue manager also for the same application or for the different application. So this, what does this brings out is it allows for the workload distribution. So there will be a load balancing. If at all, if we have any huge servers or huge load on a particular server, in order to share the load without disturbing the application or the entire structure, we can do using the clustering concept. As I said, this is another beautiful concept which is going to be helpful in MQ as well as in the message broker as well. So what does all these all about? Why do we need to know all these concepts? These are the basic primary core concepts of the MQ which covers almost all functionalities of the object and all features of each object and different types of the queues as well. So by covering these three concepts, we will be knowing the properties of each object and the functionalities of each object as well as the message broker utility. As I said, message broker runs on the WebSphere MQ. So it is these three are the core objects to understand the message broker functionality as well. So okay, so if at all, no, I'm not interested in the message broker, I just wanted to stick to an MQ and I want to be masterized in the MQ, right, that is also a good option, I can say, because we have an administration side of WebSphere MQ where we provide administration of each object and the monitoring and the management of this jobs of this particular queue managers and their objects also, because this entirely runs in different server. So what are the advantages of this MQ then? What benefits do we get as a business point of view? What benefits do I get when I implement this particular WebSphere MQ? So if you talk about the benefits or the advantages of the learning of this MQ, I can say it's like programmers can concentrate only on business programming. And the MQI is very, very easy to use. So it's a very easy tool to use. And the constraints on program to program and relationships are completely removed because they don't depend on each other now. And the business change is more readily accommodated. And I can guarantee that this particular message is delivered assuredly. That means there is no data loss here, irrespective of the operating system, or the technology, or the communication protocol, whatever you use. There is no data loss here. These are the main advantages of the WebSphere MQ, and we will be discussing a lot about it once we are into the training sessions. So here, next comes the WebSphere Message Broker. Before we go into the WebSphere Message Broker, let me give you a brief introduction why this tool has been come on to the picture and why the business really needed this tool so hugely. So why this the current businesses is implementing such a hugely on this particular so-called enterprise service bus. So why the applications has been switching to the SOA architecture. So here comes the business problem, handling the connectivity problem. When a business grows, obviously the applications grows, the input grows, and the output grows. So it becomes difficult when the technologies grow on the same place along with the business, because what we can see is it becomes difficult to handle each and every particular piece of code when it is so hard coded. So that is where there is an evolution of this service oriented architecture as well. So if at all the existing interface, like as I said, like the business grows, obviously there will be changes in the applications of it. So once if you want to perform the change in a particular running application, that was a huge task where we need to decouple the applications and perform the required changes. This brings up the huge loss in the business side as well. So handling this kind of connectivity problems like decoupling the interfaces from the applications, again enabling all the applications to communicate each other with the same programming languages, platforms, and morals protocols. Industry has evaluated this enterprise service bus. So what is this enterprise service bus is all about? Enterprise service bus can help you to achieve the goal of SOA. It is a flexible connectivity infrastructure for integrating applications and services. And it is the heart of the SOA. How it can be a heart of the SOA now? By just powering it, reducing the number of size and the complexity of the interfaces. So that became the heart of the SOA. Basically, this enterprise service bus does 4 things. It routes messages between services. It converts transport protocols between requester and service. It transforms message formats between requester and service. And it handles business events from disparate sources. This is the basic functionality of the enterprise service bus. Okay, now you just told me that it's a WebSphere message broker, and we are discussing a lot on the enterprise service bus. How do we interlink these two? Right. It's a perfect question should be raised, and the perfect answer is like WebSphere message broker is nothing but an advanced enterprise service bus. WebSphere message broker acts as an ESB of an advanced version which does the same functionalities what we discussed along with the new functionalities which can be achieved. So before we go into the WebSphere message broker, so actually how does this basic SOA decouple the interfaces from their applications? So does that really need to decouple? Yes. How do they do then? SOA uses a programming model that allows a rich abstraction of both the business application and the interface. And second, by abstracting that the interfaces can be clearly separated from the business applications. Obviously, this enables us to reduce the number and complexity of those interfaces. And it also allows to reuse both the interfaces. So, the problem is that you still have to build, find and manage of all those interfaces somewhere, right? So when we come to the WebSphere message broker, yes, I say no. WebSphere message broker helps you to integrate your business processes and applications by bringing together the data and transformation of your enterprise, allowing you to achieve the business goals. The WebSphere message broker is basically universal connectivity which helps you to reduce the whole load of your business applications, irrespective of your technology or irrespective of your communication channel or irrespective of your coding languages you use, because it converts from one language to any other data format. And the basic structure, what the prerequisites, what we need to know to learn this WebSphere message broker is WebSphere MQ. So that is where the MQ comes into the picture, and it acts as a backbone to the WebSphere message broker. So this is what we have discussed till now. So WebSphere message broker acts in between as an ESB, and which communicates with the different types of applications irrespective of the technologies and everything. And the brokers use WebSphere MQ to provide a secure platform, independent communications infrastructure. So this provides you with the flexibility to apply intelligence to your business data as it moves through your enterprise. Using broker, it gives you applications that flexibility to select which message to receive based on the topic or content based filters. As I said, like this is again an internal concept which we are going to discuss in our training session. And WebSphere message broker can ensure that applications receive data in the proper format without knowing anything except their own conventions and requirements. So what does this message broker is all about? What does it contain? Message broker provides the framework supporting basic function and user-defined enhancements which facilitate rapid development and modification of a business processing rules that are applied to the messages in the system. There are 3 products available in the WebSphere domain. It's an event broker which used to publish and subscribe the product that provides a pop-up concept functionality to the clients, connecting using various transports. And the other 2 is like a WebSphere toolkit and the WebSphere message broker toolkit and the WebSphere point-to-point models. The WebSphere message broker includes the event broker and extends its function to provide a powerful message brokering. As I said, like the message broker is a point-to-point model. The messages are formed, routed, and transformed to meet the business needs of this enterprise. And how we are going to achieve, we have an inbuilt core functionalities in the WebSphere message toolkits, which are called as nodes for each individual functionality. And we will be routing the messages through the message flows, which are developed in a graphical user interface, gives us the development tools. And the message broker allows us to manage the flow of information through your enterprise and integrated your applications. Using rules based on the contents of this message to route a message to multiple destinations and transform the format of the message to accommodate the receiving application's requirements, we can be achieved via WebSphere message broker. So this is the basic architecture of the WebSphere message broker. How does it functionality look like, and how does this is built up? So if you can look at the architecture of this diagram, it's a very basic simple architecture which we'll be discussing in detail in our training sessions. And this is very loose coupled since it's an ESB based on the SOA architecture model. It's a loose couple and it's a very user friendly. We have a very user friendly environment to do the developing message flows as well as the message sets. Using the message broker to do transformations in a single place enables us to integrate the processes and the application. This also interact with the database by retrieving a message or storing a message, or modify the content of the message and go and store it in the database. So basically these are all the each individually functions if you keep on discussing. So these functionalities are inbuilt or inbuilt in the message broker, and which are used in such a way where the businesses are achieving their required functionality without disturbing the current existing model, current existing application. So when should not disturb the current existing application. If it is a legacy application which is already built some ages back, yes, and now the whole business is dependent upon it, so we cannot disturb that particular application. Still, we wanted to achieve the new functionalities in it. Then definitely yes, message broker is a perfect answer for it, where it helps you to achieve the existing functionalities without disturbing your legacy application. Since the transformation logic is in a single place, the broker can help to reduce the cost of the maintenance and charges to the applications. The message broker is also provided a mechanism for interfacing with application outside of your enterprise, which will be able to transform it and route data to your business partners and customers, meeting their format requirements. So come and let us have the in detail discussions on each of the particular components and each of the particular topics which I have covered here, and we will be providing with you in live demo examples of each functionality, how it can be achieved along with the provided training material as well. Thank you.